I like that Trinity Rodman is staying in the league. I kind of hoped she wouldn't if it meant signing this high impact player deal.
Hello and welcome back to NWSL United. This is our second episode, so thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Everybody who watched episode 1, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Go ahead, if you have not, and go watch that first, because there's a lot of great stuff there. We talk about the high impact player rule. That is going to be, again, a big topic of this episode, because if you've not seen, Trinity Rodman is here to stay, signed with the Washington Spirit. But it's not just me and Alyssa today. We are joined by another person, and from the Soccer Over Gotham podcast, it's Gary. Gary, how are you?
I'm doing well. We talked this earlier, but we're about to get hit with some heavy snow this weekend, so preparing for all that. Yeah.
Well, that's not, Florida, as the Southern California and Floridian, we're not.
Yeah.
It doesn't apply.
You got room for me over there? I can just shoot over there, avoid the snow.
It was a little chilly. I had to put on a sweater today. So
wearing a long sleeve.
Yeah.
So
not to make you feel bad. But I hope you're okay, Gary, and you don't get snowed in. But I would love to hear your thoughts on our opening topic. Of course, the Rodman rule. I don't know if we want to call it that, but it's the high impact player rule. It has come into effect, and Rodman has signed a multi-year deal that just got announced a couple hours ago. What are your thoughts on this and the high impact player rule?
I like that Trinity Rodman is staying in the league. I kind of hoped she wouldn't if it meant signing this high impact player deal, which I think is dumb. And I think it's anti-union. It's a backdoor kind of union busting move for the league. And I feel like it only helps 5 teams in the league. And if your stated goal is parity, then this is the opposite of that. Trinity Rodman is not, or any of those players that can qualify for this rule are not going to Utah, right? It's just not happening. So they're not going to be able to do that. And if you at least increase the salary cap by $1 million, they might not be able to get that type of player, but they can use that across their entire roster, build their entire roster up, and get better class of players to be able to compete with those teams that are top heavy with those high impact type players for the roster. So I don't like it. I mean, you're talking about New York, Orlando, San Diego, maybe LA, and Washington, just because of Michelle Kang's influence. You're talking about 5-6 teams that could use this rule. And I think it's dumb. I think that NWSL, this is an old school NWSL thing where they usually let MLS dictate what they're going to do. Like they look to MLS and say, okay, what did they do? We're going to do that. Even though women's sports and women's soccer is completely different than men's sports and men's soccer. So I think it's dumb. They took a dumb MLS rule that was used to make certain teams better. It didn't only affected 5 or 6 teams over there originally. It's going to do the same thing over here. I don't like it, but I'm glad Trinity's back.
Well, I loved that speech from Gary. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. What an entrance. I agree with pretty much all of that. Especially, I love what you said about, and you picked the perfect team to identify in Utah Royals, just not being able to really benefit from a hip player ever. Like, I feel for those teams because they still have a team in this league and they are still, able to be competitive. So if they don't have the money, then this doesn't really benefit them to go out and find, they don't have the market, right? They don't have the club that's attractive enough, sadly, right now to be able to go. I mean, I know because Orlando Pride was that. So I really feel for you, those clubs on that front. And then I also think that, the situation that you said is it's a little bittersweet because we love Trinity Rodman and we want to see Trinity Rodman in this league. And this is coming from teams that are directly competing with her at the top of the league. Like, I don't want to see her score against Orlando Pride, but I love the fact that she's in the league because she is a great player. But the fact that she has kind of caused this high impact situation to happen, I don't really blame Washington. I don't really blame her. I don't really, want to lump that on them, but it's just a causation because of the league. Alyssa, your thoughts on Rodman and the hip rule now in effect?
I think it really is exactly how Gary described it. Boo on union busting. That's so wrong. And like we said, the NWSL is happy to pay their lawyers instead of paying players. And instead of valuing players that don't meet this sort of artificial set of bullet points. And I love Trinity Rodman. Man, it's hard to not like her. If I'm going to talk about marketability, I follow her on TikTok, I follow her on Instagram. I mean, I love her. I think she's outstanding on and off the field. But it is sort of like that backhanded compliment where you're like, oh, this is so amazing for her. I'm so happy. And then you have to take a zoom out and you're like, oh, but this rule sucks. It's inequitable. It also does not value other players or other national teams, which is wild because, you have like Esther, who is on the Spanish national team and is probably arguably one of the biggest attacking threats in the league. She cannot be stopped. We've tried. So it's just interesting. We're in a weird spot. We're in a really weird spot, and I'm like excited, and I'm excited for the Spirit. I'm not excited for me to play the Spirit. I know that Santos Bethune Rodman link up with Tara McKeown. I mean, it's just powerful. Um, but I'm glad to not see Trin go. I think she has such an impact on the league. And someone on Bluesky said this, and I'm so sorry I forgot who it was, but they said that this was not a league win, right? Like this is not something the league did. This is something the community did. This
Yeah,
was
that was Andre from the Hey Spirit podcast. Good guy.
yes, exactly. And so Andre, I think, said it perfectly, is that this was the community around the league. This is not a Berman win. And are we shocked? Berman was not at the press conference.
Yeah, 100% right. And obviously I'm a Gotham podcast, Gotham fan, and we're one of those teams that could benefit from this rule. Yes, but I don't want that. Like, I want everybody to be able to share in the spoils of this league and to grow together. And I don't want super teams. I want everybody to be able to, it's just silly to me.
That's funny coming from someone with a super team.
You said, Gary, about,
it's true.
I don't always like to compare the two, but the MLS comparison is definitely there. Like, people even have talked about it in the NWSL. Why are we kind of copying the MLS designated player rule there? So I think that's a very astute point, and I just think it's not necessary. We don't need to go down this road. We talked about that before. We should just, add $1 million to the salary cap and call it a day. And we could be keeping Rodman in that scenario now, but instead, we now have the high impact player rule. How is that going to impact the league? It's going to be fascinating to see what the teams do. How do they use these funds? Do they use it on players already in their squads? Do they add more players, et cetera, et cetera? The thing that I'm really interested in getting your opinion on before we move on is Trinity Rodman. She did not play a lot of minutes last year and has had some real injury problems. So given the fact that she's being paid $1 million, is there a real risk there with that much money, or does it not matter at all because the high impact player rule is designed to cover players that make you money, and she'll make you money whether she's on the pitch or not? Alyssa, what do you think?
I think you're dead on that no matter what, Trinity Rodman could get injured again, and she is incredibly marketable. Here's a little bit of tea. I was at a Wave event, and there was a lot of the front office there. And there were these two women who I believe work in marketing, and they were talking about how they had to explain something to their boss that felt very obvious. And it was, you have to market Trinity Rodman when she comes to your town. And to hear that, I think just sort of affirms the impact she has. Do I think that's right? I don't know. I mean, are you valuing the game? Are you valuing that sort of profitability? I mean, I can probably answer based on what I think like Jessica Berman would say. But it's just interesting to sort of see that. I don't know. It like feels very men's soccer.
Yeah. I mean, she's not obviously of the level of Messi, but
Take it back.
it's getting, that level of fame is getting there, right? She's starting to grow to that point where she's, the face of women's soccer.
Trinity Rodman, I think you're just as good as Lionel Messi. I know she's watching.
Gary, what do you think about, injuries and, her marketability?
Back to the point, I think we went through this with Alex Morgan on her
Yeah.
farewell tour. It makes local fans annoyed, but it is what it is. You go to the games and there's way more Alex Morgan jerseys than Gotham fan jerseys sometimes. Back in the day, not anymore. But yes, it's annoying, but that's just part of the marketing of the sport. It is what it is. But yeah, I think that there's a risk with injury. I mean, she came out in the championship game, she played 10 minutes and then was on the ground, and it looked like her injury resurfaced, which stinks. Hopefully she's taking the entire offseason off, getting back to where she needs to be. We'll love to see her on the field. But yeah, it's a risk you take, but she's going to sell a lot of jerseys. She's going to sell a lot of tickets. She's worth the money.
All righty, let's move on and talk about another player that Washington are going to bring in. This one is not confirmed yet, but there is an article out by Jeff Kassouf. So it's pretty much, we'd like to say, one of the most reputable names in women's soccer saying it's probably going to happen. Washington Spirit to sign Paraguay star Claudia Martinez. Let's start out with you, Gary. How do you feel about this one? Do you know much about Claudia?
Yeah, the hype is real. She's one of the youngest players to score multiple goals in the Copa America Femenina. She scored, I think, 6 goals or something. She's excellent. I think this was a spot that if you watch the championship game, you know that they miss having Ashley Hatch, a talented striker up top. And I think her, Bethune, Rodman, Kawasi are going to be excellent and dangerous. And I think Washington is one of the only teams, I think we talked about this before we started, but I think Washington was the only teams that actually, I think, got significantly better in the offseason. If this is true, then I think they won the offseason with getting Rodman and her if they do.
Is this the beginnings of this super team that we fear, Alyssa, with the idea of bringing in, this is 950,000. So this is a big sale in women's sports and women's soccer.
I don't know. I cannot stand the fact that we have players putting in the same amount of effort, right? Across the league on the teams, and they're getting paid 45 grand. I think that's unacceptable. So to see the first player from Paraguay to come and get this contract, and she's young, and she's another non-white player, which I think is great in terms of diversity and bringing different styles of play. I'm kind of all about it. That's just my bias. I think pay these women what they're worth and pay the players. So I think it's cool. I think it's such an interesting move, right? If you're not watching national teams, I'd be so interested to learn who their scout is and what they're looking for, especially now with Haley Carter being there, and sort of, was this something she had an impact on? Was this before her time? I'd be just interested to know strategy wise. I think that's always really interesting, especially because I mean, if you look at San Diego's move in the offseason, we hired, half the U20 team, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, I think great for young players, great for, I think, pushing also the league to do more, right? Okay, we have these great players, and if you want to hold up this idea that it's about parity, they're going to have to budge, because players are going to come in that are explosive, that score hat tricks in international competition and are killing it. And you're going to have to start paying them what they're worth. And I think Michelle Kang, possibly paired with Haley, but I think what she's doing is she is a very smart business person. And I think she knows exactly what she's doing by paying these players what they're worth. And I think it's only giving the Players Association more fodder for a better CBA. So I'm all about it until I have to play her, and then I'm not about it.
Michelle Kang is definitely leading the way for women's soccer in this country and also globally, really,
Mm-hmm.
setting the standard, saying, I'm going to raise the level in every aspect. To your point on, is this a Haley Carter starting? This is, in my opinion, 100% a Haley Carter signing. When she left us, I was like waiting for that next move where she goes out and finds a player that she's going to spend. When she was with the Orlando Pride, it may take a little bit more convincing. I don't think there's any problems. Michelle Kang has gone, here is an open checkbook. Haley, go sign. Well, and also Nathan, right? Let's not forget, Nathan is the one really doing a lot of this work. Haley is the president, Nathan is the GM. And that she's got a great team there that Kang has put together. And the two of them are going out and picking whoever they like. And their first, not only keeping Rodman, but this is going to be, I agree with both of you guys. It's going to be a great signing. And I'm excited to see what she can do in the league. Another international star joining the league. So very exciting indeed. All right. Let's move on to some, sadder news. Let's play the sad music. It's time for Alyssa to tell us how she jinxed herself, because last episode she said, literally, I will cry if Delphine Cascarino leaves San Diego Wave. Did you have insider information you weren't sharing with us? Or did you just put this out in the universe and screw yourself?
Okay. So L'Equipe, which is a soccer
Very
sorry, I
well known.
actually
Yeah.
thought about crying. I like teared up a little bit thinking about it. They posted a rumor, and I said, I think I'm screwed. But I was kind of like, haha, nothing was confirmed. And then, the next morning after we record, oh man, it really hurt. My wife won't let me talk about it in the house. It's won't even entertain the conversation. We're all pretty upset about it. I also understand, though, it was for personal reasons, and she's a twin. And I think twins have a hard time being apart. Twins, comment below, but I know several sets of twins, and there is like a really strong family bond. So to know that she's in the same city as her sister, and she's playing for Michelle King's Lionesses, who just got promoted, I kind of can't be mad. But if we don't win our home opener, I will be mad. So prepare for more tears as the season starts. But I really foot in mouth situation there. And
How are you feeling about we'll wait, we'll hold on that. Gary, what do you think about this news when it came out? Was it did it hit you by surprise, or you're like, what happened?
No, that was people go where the money is. And I'm just upset that I didn't get to see Ludmilla and her on the field at the same time. That would have been so much fun to watch.
Nice.
Because that's what they've been missing, right? Like Cascarino was doing all the hard work, and like you can tell by the end of the season, she's not feeling it with her teammates, and just was a little bit upset that the players were not getting on the end of her crosses. It just seemed like that's kind of another reason that she kind of left. I think she wanted to be with a team that fit her a little bit better. But having her in Ludmilla would have been so much fun.
Okay, now my feelings are hurt again.
Yeah.
My initial thought was about, is this a trend we're going to see maybe in our European players in NWSL wanting to leave because of certain cultural situations that are happening in our country? Obviously there's a lot of turmoil. I don't want to get super political, but it does play a difference, right? Players coming in are having issues with visas, so players that are not American might consider at the moment that maybe they don't want to live in America. Maybe they want to go back to Europe. So that was my first thought here. Of course, there was more to it, like going home, her twin, like everything that Alyssa said. But I'm in fear that some of these great European stars might not like life here. Have you guys thought about that at all?
I immediately thought of the African players who had to miss competition because they weren't sure if they would be let back in the country. And that is outrageous, right? It's outrageous. If you can't, we're not going to get political, but it's outrageous. The whole thing is inhumane.
It affects our game in so many ways. Gary, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah. It's just, we're in a very, very dark spot in our country, and it's an absolute. It's in the back of every player's mind. That's not white facing player. Yes, absolutely. Like, you cannot discount that.
Let's change the subject to something a little bit more fun and talk about our rookies that are coming in. So there's so many new players that have just joined NWSL from college. I myself just don't have the capacity to watch a lot of college sports. So whenever this happens, I feel a little bit lost, and I'm like, who's this player? Who's that player? So I'm going to lean on some knowledge here from Alyssa and Gary to talk about who they think are the exciting new players to join directly from college. Of course, we usually have the draft. We have no draft. We have free agency. You can pick whoever you want. It's a whole new world. Gary, what are your thoughts on new draftees or rookies entering the league from college?
My favorite pick so far of the rookie class is goalkeeper Jordan Knights, University of Colorado, going to Denver Summit. I think the world of her. I think she's going to be like you can call her like an Alyssa Nair type keeper. She's just an excellent athlete, incredibly smart, and I think she has a chance to not only start right away, she at least compete for minutes. I think she could be really good. I think it's a heck of a signing for them, especially a new team. I think I get a cornerstone goalkeeper for the next couple of years. I think, I'm hugely excited about that one. Alyssa, what do you think?
Okay. I have a little bit of a bias because the Wave did sign some really amazing college players recently. So we got a transfer from Bay, and their goalkeeper, and she won ACC goalkeeper. But then we also got Leah Godfrey, who was midfielder of the year. And then we also got, we got goalkeeper Leah Freeman. Oh, two Leahs. And then Mimi Van Zatten. Come on, guys. These are some young, I think, people that are going to fill some gaps, right? Like, so if you look at the Wave, they lost basically a lot of the right side. Savannah McCaskill decided to go to Gotham. Delphine's gone. Hannah Lundvik has left. And so there was a lot of gaps. And I think Jonas likes fast. He likes fast. He likes a European style. He likes your defenders being able to book it. And I think inserting some of this younger, straight from college, like, I think it's going to really light a fire under some of the players that maybe was a motivation they might have been missing, especially with some like key motivators leaving the team in like Kaylin Sheridan and those more veteran players. I mean, I think Kristen McNabb and Mel Barcenas are the only remaining original Wave players. Stressful. But I think he made some good college moves on top of like Ludmilla and more established players. I'm interested just to see how that shakes out for us. But also Gotham made a pretty good signing.
Okay, who you got from Gotham?
I have notes because I don't want to forget anyone's name ever. Gotham signed. Oh no, my brain is buffering.
We got three good ones. We got Tegan Y, goalkeeper, just signed. That's an interesting signing because Gotham's now 26 players, so they got to move somebody. And they have four goalkeepers. Somebody is going somewhere. Kitahara from Stanford, the left winger, incredible player, led Stanford, was a captain for Stanford, scored a bunch of goals over there, and Gotham's not had a left-sided attacker, an actual left-sided attacker, as far as I can remember. So I think she's going to blow it up this year. I think she's going to be excellent. She should fight for some minutes there as well. And Talia Somer should be good as well. Actual number 10. Gotham's never had that. So I think she could fit in a role in maybe some of the competition games, but I don't know if she's going to fit much in the regular season with the talent that Gotham has. But those are kind of the big signings for them. Kitahara is going to be amazing.
Already adding more on top of that roster you guys have.
Just a quick point. Like, we're already seeing the fruits of the labor of ending the draft. Players that fit roles are going where they want to go. And like, I was having a conversation about this about the NFL, and like when you have like the NFL, like it's the highest level, right? There's no national team, there's no nothing. So I get why you want like your top players to go to some of the lower teams. So you want to make parity that way. But like when you have your focus is the national team here, having your best talent go to the worst teams where they might not develop there is so crazy to me. It's always been crazy to me. And seeing players like Lily Reel, she's a top 5 player, probably shouldn't go to Gotham, but goes to Gotham and it goes to the national team right away. And she had Rookie of the Year, Young USL Player of the Year. So we're seeing the fruits of that. And I think the national team is going to benefit really quickly over the next like 2 to 3 years. And we're going to see a real big resurgence of our national team. Just putting it out there.
The only other side of that is that then, like we talked about before, it becomes a lot more about your market and who you are as a club and your sellability, right? So it is difficult to convince the top, just like anybody, when you're signings, you're convincing your top players they want to go join the top clubs in NWSL. So what's left for the other teams, right? They need to maybe be a bit kind of shop lower down the draftee order list maybe and find these players that are not going to be picked up by the top 5, 6 big NWSL clubs and scoop them up as well, because there's still a lot of great players coming out of college. Maybe we've only mentioned some of the top ones here, but of course there's so many joining across the league. For Orlando Pride, we got Solai Washington, so I'm very excited about her, FSU player. We also got Seven Castaigne. We picked up a goalkeeper in Cara Martin as well, who won Big East Goalkeeper of the Year in 2024. So we're gonna see, we got some moves happening on our side for Orlando Pride, but I'm always excited to see which rookies come into the league and hit the ground running first.
I think it's going to put a lot more investment into development, right? So like teams are going to have to invest in player development if they want to compete in this league. And I think that is going to get more people on rosters. That's going to get more people in development. That's going to give them more opportunities. I'm not super stoked on the second division that's starting in the NWSL. That was like, we talked about it for 1 second and now we haven't heard anything else about it. But I think the more we're working on developing talent and getting people in roster positions, the better, as long as they're being paid. Pay them.
Yeah, there's always been a gap between the amount of opportunity and the amount of talent, and the amount of talent was always like 4 times as much as the opportunity. So now we have the USL Super League, hopefully the NWSL 2 League, more opportunities to shine. This is all a good thing. Any growth in leagues and opportunity is a good thing.
Yeah, of course.
And a huge gap in college to NWSL, right? Like
100%.
Just because you don't
100%.
peak in 4 years does not mean you are not a great soccer player. It just means you might need a little bit more development time to make it, or like to get fit or whatever. You see that with the Wave have a lot of young players who are like started at 15 and are now in their young adulthood at 18 or 17. And they have to work a lot harder to build muscle because they are barely children, adults, like they're in that weird development phase playing against, fully established, strong adults. The amount of times I saw Kimi Ascanio fly across a pitch, especially when playing someone like the Pride or the Current, I was like, oh, girl, you just don't have the muscle mass, right? Like you just can't build it as fast as you're having to play.
No,
I can't imagine
McCaskill, that one.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like you gotta. Yeah, I'm not excited to be opposite her brick wall. Savannah McCaskill bringing screens to the NWSL. Wrong sport, girl. I guess I'm just more excited for development opportunities and for clubs to see the value in that, because I think right now it's like win, 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 championship. That's all they care about. There's a lot of noise around that. When you look at the WSL, they have so many things to compete for. I think it makes them want to develop their players more because it's not just one trophy. That's just my tea.
There's also the threat of relegation, All right, let's talk about it.
I like the drama.
Yeah, the drama is great. Trust me. Let's talk about the kickoff that has been announced. Well, the NWSL whole schedule has been announced, but we'll start by talking about the kickoff weekend. We've got March 13th, 14th, and 15th. What games stand out to you, Gary, in this opening week?
I'm a little biased here, but Gotham versus Boston. Boo Boston. Sorry, just a New Jersey, New York thing. It's in like, as soon as I hear Boston, just boo Boston. Okay. So yeah, I think that's going to be fun, seeing Boston up close in person, and it's going to be at Gillette Stadium, I believe. So it's going to be a big crowd. Hopefully, it's going to be an amazing game to start the season off, for at least for us.
I'm excited to watch that one as a neutral. So I bet you're really excited.
Yeah.
Alyssa,
no
what stands out for you on opening day?
Okay.
Apart from, of course, San Diego
the San Diego Wave. Obviously. I'm really excited for the Spirit to play Portland. I think those are two teams that have had a lot of changes. R.I.P. Sam Coffey. She would have loved the NWSL. But, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what form they're in. I believe Portland is still missing a head coach. March is around the corner. Should probably get on that. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited. I hope Trinity starts. It's just like, I don't know. It feels like a homecoming game. Like it's all the people we know, teams that have changed, the seniors graduated.
And that'll be the first game of the season. So I'm sure everybody's going to be watching that on a Friday night.
Yeah.
The last game of that weekend, I think, is the one I'm going to go for, Angel City, Chicago. Mainly because I'm just excited. I want to see what these teams look like in 2026. I think both of them are making moves to be different. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know yet. I don't know what they're going to look like, but I think they've made moves that intrigue me, and I want to see that matchup against and also Emily Sams.
I was going to say, you just miss your girl. You just miss your defender.
And I want to see, I want to see what she. No, I don't like her in this jersey color, but we're not going to go into that. All right. Let's move on and talk about the last. Well, actually, no, let's talk about rivalry week first. What do you guys feel about rivalry week, first of all? Alyssa, what do you think?
Okay. Some teams think that there are rivalries that are not real rivalries. And I need everyone to come correct because, like, LA, San Diego, that's a rivalry. That is historical hatred. Right? Like that is New York and Boston, right? I think that's a rivalry. Just that's historical. Kansas City and Orlando. That's historical league, right? Like league lore. Those are the ancient texts. And I think that's it. I think those are the Seattle and Portland. Sorry guys. Forgot about Cascadia.
That's a big one.
Like who's the Dash's rival?
They tried to make the space race thing with Orlando, but struggle. So I just think I would also say maybe Washington and Gotham. That feels kind of rivalry-y, not just New York and DC, but like the teams, right? Like there's like legendary beef of Emily Sonnet and Trinity Rodman in each other's faces in the semifinals, right? Like I love that. I think we need to stop pushing it. Stop making it happen. It's not going to happen. The Gotham Washington thing is interesting, just from my perspective at least. I always felt it was forced. It's an old Red Bull New York, DC United rivalry, and it just kind of overlapped a little bit. But I never felt it was there on the field. The players just didn't have that rivalry feel to me. Waiting for it, it just doesn't seem to happen. However, like in this past 2 years, it's like wherever you look, those two teams are colliding. Right, it's in the Champions Cup. It's going to be in the semifinals last year, in the finals this year. So it's everywhere you look, it's Washington. Everywhere you look, it's Gotham. So I think, at this point, I think it has to be. But it's like, okay, I'm waiting for that moment on the field, like you're talking about the Rodman Sonnet
in
thing.
Each other's faces.
I'm waiting for that. But so I think it's there. I'm ready to call the rivalry. I'm ready.
Okay.
To. But
you're ready to commit.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We got a sponsor for Rivalry Week. So Ally has sponsored Rivalry Week. But on the graphic they put out, there's like a whole week of games, but then only some of them are identified as rivalry games, like the KC or Orlando Pride, which I totally agree. Cascadia, which we agree with. New York Spirit, right? We tend to agree with that one. So it's strange to me. You're doing rivalry week, but then you've identified there's only so many rivalries, but then why is this a league-wide thing? Why aren't they just natural rivalries that happen and you can promote it when it happens? I don't know.
Because Ally wanted to sponsor 1 week of games.
Yeah.
It feels
and they chose the one that had the
forced.
most rivalries. Yeah, that's exactly
Love
what
it.
happened.
Because they looked at the MLS and they were like,
sponsorship. Another
They said,
MLS ripoff.
yeah, they were like, we gotta
Unwell
do what the MLS
FC
does.
brings you.
Yeah.
No, please no.
Call her Unwell.
All right, decision day, same thing. What games stand out on the final day of the season, Gary?
I do not know who's what. Give me some decision day lineups, matchups.
We've got Boston, San Diego, New York, Utah,
Boo,
Houston,
Boston.
Portland, Angel, Boston,
Boston.
Racing KC, Courage, Denver, Reign, Orlando, and Spirit, Chicago.
Ooh, actually, so there's some snoozers in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not really exciting.
Racing's got who?
Racing KC.
Okay, that could be for something. I expect Racing to be fighting for that last couple playoff spots. So, and I think Casey's going to take a slump this year a little bit with all the changes they made. I'm not a fan of their head coaching decisions. Maybe another conversation.
We hit that last week. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. Alyssa, anything, any of these games really? I know it's a long way away, but
I scrolled down. Gosh, yeah. It's hard because I don't know, right? Like, so the Courage got Kalen Sheridan, they're playing Denver. So like I'm really interested to see, but it's hard to think about like November is so far away from now. Like someone's leg could blow out. And if the temperature wet bulb thermometer has its way, someone's leg will, just the way unfortunately that it's gone. But I mean from a San Diego perspective, we're playing Bay FC. Meh,
Yeah, that's
I'm
a good
fine.
one.
I'm not worried though. I mean, I know Julie Foudy will come down and, talk mess, but like Orlando's going to play Seattle. Washington's going to play Chicago, and that sucks to be Chicago. It's just like, yeah, like Gary said, kind of a bunch of snoozies for the it just doesn't feel competitive.
There's no, like, as we would think of like the big four right now, quote unquote, right? There's none of those are matching up. There's no like on the surface, there's no real big games here. And
if you rewind a week though, Orlando's playing Gotham, Current's playing the Spirit. Now that's exciting.
Well, maybe they think that it's going to be wrapped up before decision day, and that's why they're doing that. But as Gary said, another MLS thing. That even the literal name decision day is exactly the same. So,
look
at those matchups are like those matchups that are two teams that are probably fighting for playoff spots, probably. And looking at these, I'm like, okay, Bay and San Diego could be one. Bay could be on the cusp. That's a good one. I do think Racing's going to be fighting for that last couple spots. They're always like one of my favorite fun
Seattle's been
teams.
Trying for a while.
Yeah, they
Laura
lost a lot
Harvey
of players.
Desperate to win, and poor lady.
I guess.
Speaking of Seattle, we're going to move on to our club focuses, and they are our first team that we're going to talk about. So they finished 5th last season. Their moves in the offseason, they have added Brittany Ratcliffe. They've added Osteen. They've added Purcell, Maddie Darlene. Of course, well, that was before. So, I mean, they've lost some players as well. What do you think, Gary? Do you think they're going to be better or worse just off the cuff?
I'm going to say fall. I think the loss of leadership with Lauren Barnes is going to be a tough one for them. But I don't think they've added enough pieces in the offseason to keep up with the teams that are in the top.
I mean, it's only in the past 3 years we lost Megan Rapinoe. And they lost Sonnet and Lavelle right after. I mean, give them some time, They're allowed to have a stumble, and that's what I think they're doing too. I think the odds are not in their favor this season, especially when you look at what everyone else is doing. I just don't think, I think 5th would be an honorable location for them to end in the off season. I think that'd be unexpected for me.
Like we talked about with the high impact player rule, you expect that the clubs that are going to spend will take advantage of that and probably get better. So in this new world, the big get bigger. It's going to be more difficult to break into that sort of top 4 or 5. I tend to agree with you guys. I think this might be a fall for Seattle Reign. Let's move on to Portland Thorns. Of course, the big loss for them. Sam Coffey, that's a huge one. Sophia Wilson is back, so that's massive on the other side. Alyssa, let's start with you. What do you think about Portland? Are they going to improve, or are they going to fall from their 3rd place finish last season?
Man, I forgot they finished 3rd. It's so
they were up there.
When the Wave went to the playoffs for the first time, we played the game where it was 0-0, and then in the last 60 seconds, Crystal Dunn got a goal that won the game and sent Portland to the championship. So I hate Portland. That's a personal thing. It's a secret rivalry that I have with Portland. And I think if they really get it together, I mean, again, get a coach. But I think once they do that, I think mid-season we might see them pick up. I think they're gonna give us a false start. But you can't look at like Olivia Moultrie and not think that like as a midfielder, she's doing a lot. And you bring back Soph, and they just got, was it Raylan Turner who just went to Portland? Or am I making that up?
She was on there last season. She was like
great.
The fill-in for.
That's also like
she's good.
Baller status, and I think she just got called up to the national team. So I think it'll be like, what? And then they might finish. I bring my own sound effects. I think they might finish close to the same spot. And now I'd be gagged if they won and like took it all. But every game is a new game, and it's anybody's game. So I don't want to be too arrogant, but I think it'll take them a couple of months to get it together.
I could see that with no coach and, Sam Coffey being the linchpin of this team. How do they recover from that?
Morale-wise, what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, rise or fall, Gary. What do you think for Portland?
I got rise for Portland. I think they overperformed last season, but I think they're going to do well this season. The reason why I think we bring it back to something Melissa said earlier on is about building infrastructure. They invested a lot of money in training facilities and staff there, and I think that they're going to have a very hard home field advantage with the stuff that are building there. I think it's going to be world class. Their facilities they're building, and I think they're going to be a team on the rise. And you can't. And Wilson's back. You're guaranteed at least 12, 14 goals from her.
I mean, never count out the Thorn.
Or the Moultrie, right?
I just learned it the hard way our first season, and I will never ever doubt them until the whistle blows.
Mm-hmm. And when that place is packed, it's it rocks like rowdy.
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be tough though. 3rd that's a really good finish, but they were building something, but then they changed manager. That's why I'm like, so what's going on? All right, Alyssa, it's time. Take us away into the world of San Diego Wave, and I'm assuming why you think they're going to be better than last year. I'm gonna predict for you that they're going to rise.
I do think we're going to rise. I think everyone's forgotten that Kat Macario is looking into the NWSL, and in my wildest fantasies, she comes to the Wave, because that front line would be baller. So that's my personal fantasy. But I think Jonas had something that he really unlocked in a lot of players. I love all the French players on our team. And while Delphine is gone, my wife did remind me that I'm really a big Pearl Maroney fan and Kenza Dali. So I still have my French connection. And I think with their leadership and I just think they're really amazing. And I think Jonas has had time to settle now. Now he's starting his first year, his first established year. And I think the Wave made a mid-season comeback where people were like, oh, actually, we can't count you out. That's annoying, which was nice. I think there's a lot of things to build. I'm excited to see Didi Hadicic kind of lead us from the goal. It's been a lot of years with Kaylin Sheridan. I will miss her. But I just don't think her and Jonas gelled as much as her and Casey Stoney. And that's great because Casey Stoney is the Canada national team coach. So that works out really nicely for her. So I think people are going to be gagged, and then add Ludmilla and the speed. I mean, she basically ran Chicago up and down that field, and I welcome that in San Diego. And I think all of you will be very sorry.
All right, big things planned for San Diego. I like the confidence from Alyssa. Gary, what do you think?
Thank you.
From the other side, from the champions? Are you worried about what's
Gary,
happening?
you better
in San
watch your
Diego?
mouth.
Don't hate me. A slight fall for San Diego. Slight fall. Only because you lost your best attacking piece in Cascarino. It's gonna. I feel like what you said about Portland is gonna be very true for San Diego, where they can have a slow start, pick it up mid-season, and then fight for some spots at the end. That's. I think when you're missing your most creative attacking outlet, you're going to take a little bit of a fall.
Did you not remember we just hired Ludmilla, who is a Brazilian and an amazing player, and also a creative player? I think they would have played well together. Yeah, she would have, but she'll play great with Dulinha, who's also Brazilian. I can't believe this. Gary, you're fired.
They did score 41 goals last year. So I think when you add in Ludmilla, if they score more goals and figure out how to not concede so many, because there's
our defenders score goals. You better watch it. You got Emily Sonnet using the back of her head to block goals. We got our Kennedy Wesley. She's out there. She's like goal scoring. We got Kristen McNabb, header, bang. We got these little tiny ladies, these little tiny people, and they're coming up.
And you got Noma Gaskell to be the bulldog.
And guess what? Do you think she's going to be a starter at Gotham? Thank you. Your silence answered everything. So, everyone is fired when they speak badly about the Wave.
McCaskill?
Mm-hmm.
Castle's absolutely going to start at Gotham.
Okay, sure.
She's going to start alongside of Howell. That spot's been wide open, and I think she's going to do amazing there. I think it was a great.
We'll see when the first game starts. Gary wants to
I'm
fight.
excited for this San Diego Gotham game now. I want to see this go down.
Okay, I had to watch Gotham win in my stadium.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
After I watched Megan Rapinoe blow her leg up.
KC
we need to
fans
ban legs.
Tell me how that felt, because I did that in their stadium.
It's an amazing experience. To watch Allie Krieger win the championship, please.
Alyssa, you're going to like what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Rise, and I think I only have a few teams that like Gotham. Gary, you weren't here last week, but Gotham I think are going to rise because, I mean, come on, you came 8th, and it just doesn't make sense. But I think you're going to go up from 6th, Alyssa, as well. I think you will. I think there's going to be the Ludmilla edition. You'll probably won't concede as many goals if you're a real threat. Like when you came to town, you made me scared. Like the Orlando Pride defense is very good, but yeah, I was like, I don't want any of this Dali in here, please.
Isn't she amazing? And the French national team stopped calling her up. That's crazy.
That is insane. I don't get that at all. All right, our final team that none of us really are a fan of, Racing Louisville. So I'm going to start off with this one. Racing Louisville, they're a team that they're very like 8th or 9th, right? When I think of Racing Louisville, I think of a mid-table team. And if you're a Racing Louisville fan, I'm sorry, but you probably know this yourself. So when Racing Louisville came 7th, I was like, oh my God, they're in the playoffs. They're going to do it. Are they going to be something? And it just kind of fell short. And I'm a little concerned that might be a peak for Racing Louisville. Like we've talked about, there's so many big teams in the league, and a lot of the big teams are spending money, and other teams like, Gotham, like we said, will go up the table. You're going to have San Diego Wave and, getting better potentially. There's a lot of teams, Portland, Thorns, they're could be fighting, Washington, Orlando, KC for these top 6, 8 playoff spots. And I just don't know where Racing Louisville fits in that. They brought in Macy Hodge. I'm not feeling their off season. I think, it's going to be rough for them. And I think it's going to be a fall, and I think they're going to struggle to make the playoffs again. And probably go back down to like 9th or something, which I hate for Racing Louisville because I feel like they're stuck. And as an Orlando Pride fan, I know exactly what that was like. So you have my sympathy. Yeah. Gary, what do you think about Racing Louisville?
I have a lot of thoughts about Racing Louisville. I love Racing Louisville fans and their podcasters and their media people. I just know, like, every time I talk to them, they're in it for the right reasons, and they're so passionate, and they just love the sport. They love everything, and it just sucks for them that their ownership is so bad at this. They're so bad at this. And Bev Yanez is a wonderful human being. She's overcome so much, and she's making magic. With what the roster that she has. And you see what we're racing this off season. Basically, all Racing did was call every team in the league, was like, okay, who are you getting rid of? Can we take him? Can we take there? Can we take her? Can we take her? Can we take her? That's all they did all of the
You
offseason.
want to come to Kentucky?
Yeah, that's basically like, you got any players you can shut off? We'll take them.
But then
that's
left
essentially
Bethany
what they
Balser.
do. Yeah. So I think she's getting a lot of the talent that she has, and they're playing for her. They're balling out. They're balls to the wall, just going crazy, and just high pressing teams, and just so much guts. And they took it to Washington in the playoffs. Like, no mistake about that. They had a chance. They had a chance there. So I think the best of the players there, the coaching staff, the fans there. But you're all right. They're going to be in that right out of the playoff spot every single time. And what's funny about them is they're always like the only team above the line with a negative goal differential every single time. I don't know how they do it, but they're always like -5, -6 goal differential, but above the line.
-3 last year. You're right. Only team.
How they do that every season? I have no idea. But
it's the purple curse.
Yeah, I want the best for them.
That's not purple. We're purple. They wear like a pink color. No, Alyssa, don't take this from me.
Easy,
I will not
John.
have this.
Okay,
purple is our color.
I want Louisville to rise really badly, but I do agree. I'm so sorry, Kentucky. I think it's a fault. They aren't re-signing Bethany Balser. They did not use her appropriately. What a waste of Rookie of the Year. You know what I mean? Like, what a talent. And we just stole her from Seattle and made her leave for nothing. Okay. So I don't know what they're doing over there. They hired a good forward from Georgetown. I think, Lardner. I think that's going to be exciting for them. They have the best height advantage in the league in Taylor Flint, formerly Korniak, former midfielder for San Diego Wade. Yes. I mean, her parents are professional volleyball players. Come on.
Yeah. That's what I mean? We call her the tree in Orlando.
That's amazing. It's like, talk about such an advantage in having someone over 6'1". Like, that's just not happening, right? And she's not a goalie. That's crazy. And Bev Yanez, love women coaches in women's sports. So very happy that she's there. But it's like they're missing the secret ingredient, and I don't know what it is. And maybe it's new ownership. Maybe it's better investments. Their new jersey that they dropped today, all the dead dirt ones, that was cute.
I didn't
Their
see
jersey
that.
it was a knitted shirt. It's cute. So that's good for them. But then they started their own supporter group, and that's weird. So it's like, it's just weird. It's weird over there.
I think the missing ingredient, like you were asking what that is, I think Gary already said it. It's just money. Like they're not, when you're fishing at the bottom of the barrel, you're only going to be able to build a squad that's so good. And the other one we haven't talked about is losing Ari Borges. Like that's surely going to be a big impact.
So sorry.
Yeah, no doubt. Racing is who they are.
The Angel
but
City.
They could be more.
Yes.
Who's famous in Kentucky that'll give them a bunch of money?
You need a buyout from a famous Kentuckian. We'll make that happen.
Well, I just mean, Kansas City got the Mahomeses. So where's the Mahomeses of Kentucky?
That's true.
If you're the Mahomeses of Kentucky, comment below. And then go buy Racing Louisville.
We're bringing people together here. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about from this week of NWSL's news?
I have a question.
Oh, please.
Last time I had a pretty fun question, and I thought of a new one. Who do you predict is the next high-impact player?
Well, right now it looks like to be Macario. That's probably it. Right now, the only thing we know so far is that she's had conversations with Bay FC, but that's all we really know at this point. Yeah, she's from there, so it makes sense.
Carrie, I don't want your logic.
Oh,
I want your gossip.
Okay. But there's always a chance. Always a chance she goes to San Diego. Always.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
There you go.
Get with the program. Okay,
I
John?
think the next high impact player is going to be Lily Johannes to anybody. I don't care. I just think that throw some
Get
money
her
at
out of
her.
France.
Throw some money at her. Bring her here. Because I want to fill the league with exciting young players, and even regardless that she's a U.S. Women's National Team player, she's just a really exciting player to watch. So I would love to bring her over here. And if you're not in like a top league team, you know what I mean, in Europe, like it's more likely that you can be poached away.
Yeah, and I know, Alyssa, you don't like Angel City, I'm sure. But like, I feel like there's like no bigger disappointment in the league since they've joined is them. Like, where are these big impact players that they're supposed to be signing? The bright
Chelsea.
lights.
They're at Chelsea.
Yeah. Like all this talk about being the face of the league and the next big thing in women's sports, and
and Bob
marketing
Iger,
FC for a while.
I know he's watching. So Bob Iger, where are the high impact players?
Right.
Comment below.
We want more from them.
Yeah. Especially with all the celebrities and like the media that they get, it's like, spend a little money. Come on.
They spent some on Emily Sam, so there we go.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's everything we're going to talk about on this episode of NWSL United. Thank you so much to Gary and Alyssa for being here. Thank you for all of you that watched. We appreciate you so much. If you've not done so, go ahead and drop a like on the video, comment down below. Let us know what you think about the hip rule, about Rodman, about anything we talked about. Do you have a favorite rookie? Is there a rookie we missed that we're not shouting out? So please go ahead, drop the comments below. We appreciate all of you. And of course, we'll see you next time.